In every corner of the world, the quest for greatness is evident. A hope of being remembered long after they've left the sport. This stage will determine who sacrificed everything to get there. And while uncertainty looms over every athlete, the reward is far too great to give up on.
Revs up, gate down, we're racing!
Just like that, everything changed. Two pillars of the sport finally coming together as one. The technical precision of stadium racing coming together with the all-out speed and endurance of outdoor racing. The SuperMotocross World Championship will be a challenge unlike any other.
SuperMotocross World Championship is absolutely awesome. It's a 31 race series, 10 months spread out through the year, leading to a 3-race playoff championship, world championship, and I think the fans are absolutely going to love it.
31 rounds spread over the course of 10 months that will test every athlete's will, all leading to the sport's most coveted title and biggest prize.
And we are back! Anaheim, main event, it's on!
SuperMotocross is indoors and outdoors coming together and then having 3 playoff races at the end of the year to crown a champion.
The SuperMotocross World Championship is the best thing that's happened in the sport in a long, long time. I think we're entering a new era of the sport, and we're along for a really exciting ride.
It's the ultimate test of who is the best dirt bike racer in the world. Not Supercross, not motocross, it's everything. Like, who's the absolute best? And there's nothing more fun than competing for that, and also as a fan, like truly getting the best guy at the end of the day.
In this spectacle, the brightest stars shine. Modern-day warriors, born to conquer the most grueling schedule in history.
Eli Tomac wins the 450 main in Anaheim.
The overall in Arlington goes to Eli Tomac.
Tomac gets 5 in a row and wins in Seattle.
Congratulations, Eli Tomac.
He is the Monster Energy AMA Supercross champion.
Eli Tomac goes 1-1 to win the 2022 Pro Motocross 450 Championship.
Yet uncertainty looms over every rider heading into 2023. For Eli Tomac, won just about everything there was to win in 2022.
In 2022, the book of Eli is complete.
Truly unbelievable. I mean, this was in my dreams.
And while 2018 Monster Energy Supercross champion Jason Anderson and rising phenom Chase Sexton pushed him at every turn, it was Tomac at the end.
The Monster Energy Supercross main event. Oh.
It's okay.
As he nears the tail end of his career, Tomac knows it won't be easy as former champions dot the starting line.
22 of the world's best riders on the line.
The night belongs to Kawasaki's Jason Anderson.
Anderson and Sexton will once again be formidable foes. While 2-time Monster Energy Supercross champion Cooper Webb looks to round back into form.
We're super excited for it. We've never done anything like this. Some good purse money, so that always is helpful.
2-time pro motocross champion Ken Roczen hopes to be rejuvenated under a new brand.
I think it was the perfect fit, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Rookies Christian Craig and Colt Nichols are eager to solidify their standing in the hierarchy.
I missed all of last season, but I'm kind of in a rebuilding year.
It is my first full season on 450, so it's going to be a lot.
Look how much it is.
Will the crown be passed, or will it be taken?
It's new for us. What we have now is a combined series between the two.
The indoor series, which is Supercross, and then outdoors motocross.
A Super Bowl kind of championship at the end.
10 months of racing, 31 races, all to settle the score on who the best is. That's the SuperMotocross World Championship.
for the moto fans, more racing is obviously great. You know, we all love the sport, and there's nothing better than watching Saturday's races, you know what I mean? And the excitement from January all the way to, you know, at least the first year, October, continuously all the way through is going to be amazing.
I have a lot of family actually watch from overseas as well.
I was even excited for it, just to have one place to watch the race.
So the fans, they'll be able to watch 31 races the whole season on Peacock and NBC.
Supercross is like a ballet. Motocross is a boxing match. We're taking these two unique experiences and putting them together for the ultimate Super Motocross experience for our athletes and for our fans. By creating the Super Motocross World Championship, putting them together, you're creating an opportunity for all the athletes, for all the teams, for the fans, to have the best of both worlds.
The goal is we want to build a big franchise that lasts well beyond our lifetimes and continues.
I think it's a huge step for the sport, having all of Feld and all of their backing and infrastructure, and along with Pro Motocross having what they have, having them merge together and become one is something that I think our sport has needed for a very long time.
And you think about it, I mean, we were the only sport, for the most part, on major networks that didn't have a playoff system. So I think that's going to be fun for the fans. I mean, you look at any other sport, and they always talk about playoffs. If someone gets hurt, it's like, oh, can they make the playoffs? I think we're going to be in the same boat, and the true winners are the fans, and they're going to really enjoy it.
I think it's going to bring some new blood into the sport. You know, you get a guy that may get injured early on in the outdoor national championships, and the easy thing to do is go, I'm just going to wait till next year. Well, now this guy's got another championship, another huge opportunity to win a bunch of money with the purse that's put out there. I think it's going to breathe new life and hopefully more consistent racing throughout the year.
Let's go. Strategy is often an overlooked aspect of the sport. In 2023, it may be the key to a title with the all-new Super Motocross World Championship. For not everyone will be invited to the 3-round playoff. Only the top 20 point scorers from Supercross and Pro Motocross will automatically qualify for the Super Motocross World Championship.
The new point system for the Super Motocross World Championship is unbelievable. And what I love about it, the first round of the playoffs, it's just single points. You get 26 points to win. But then the second round, it doubles in points. You can get double the points. And then obviously for the final round for the World Championship, it is triple points. So it really gives a guy, say maybe in third to fifth, a realistic shot of winning that championship because double points, triple points are up for grabs.
I think the additional money in the purse is going to be a huge thing for us racers. $10 million? We never heard that number before, you know.
I think we'll see some craziness at that final round. I think we'll see some nuttiness because of the money involved.
And the fact that we're going to end this championship and crown a winner for the Super Motocross World Championship at the LA Coliseum, I think that's huge.
You go back to those older videos and you see Supercross in that stadium, you're like, man, that'd be cool to go, you know, in and out of the stadium. And I think it's the perfect spot for that race.
It'll be super exciting to go back to a place that has so much history.
It's gonna be gnarly. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be some good racing.
The best guys, after, you know, a combination of 2 series, come together and crown one big champion.
So get ready, and I hope you have your popcorn ready.
Coming up, we hear from defending champion Eli Tomac and the rest of the stars of the Super Motocross World Championship.
Yeah, we the cream of the crop. You know we do this a lot.
Ball out. Now we rich. The 2023 Super Motocross World Championship Preview Show is brought to you in part by Monster Energy, proud partner of Monster Energy Supercross, and by Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 6. Find the rider in you. Available March 9th. Tucked away in the mountains of Colorado, Eli Tomac is beginning his ascent toward a 3rd Monster Energy Supercross title. Stoic by nature, Tomac is never one to draw attention toward himself. But after a dominating run in 2022, in which he captured his second 450 title, it's hard to shy away from.
I think a lot of fans of sports would think that a superstar is someone who not only performs on the track, but also has this amazing, outgoing, gregarious personality. But I've always found with Eli Tomac, he still resonates with the fans, even though he's pretty quiet, because there's a certain respect that has been built up for someone who, you know, just gets up early in the morning, puts in his work, no drama.
Supercross champion.
Grew up on an alfalfa farm, and that's where it all started for me, was riding just outside the field here. And for me, I've called this my home base ever since then and since the beginning. And now all of a sudden I'm 30 years old. I have a wife and 2 kids now, a boy and a girl. I'm the family guy. I mean, a lot of times people kind of write you off when you have kids in the sport, but I think that is changing now. For my riding, right? I treat it as work, and I go do that, and I can go home and have my home environment, and there's just a great balance.
It's hard to have a better season than Eli Tomac in 2022. Monster Energy Supercross champion, Pro Motocross champion, and ESPY winner for Best Athlete, Men's Action Sports, becoming only the second Supercross motocross athlete to claim the award.
That's just really neat because, you know, it puts us on the mainstream map there, and it's cool for us to get that attention in our sport.
Eli Tomac is reaching rarefied air. It is amazing to get 1 title. Getting 2, you're something special. But when you get into the 3s, 4s, and 5s, you are seriously looking at the Mount Rushmore of Supercross and motocross.
What Eli Tomac did in 2022 just doesn't really happen much in our sport. An older veteran rider who hadn't won any championships in a year switches to an unfamiliar OEM and expects to win 2 titles? No, it doesn't happen. And props to Eli Tomac, he did it. He wanted a new bike. He wanted some people around him with a little bit different outlook. He gambled on himself, and he won big time.
Bringing that momentum off of 2022 into 2023 with the new SuperMotocross World Championship in front of him, I just think you have to give him the nod.
Despite only being under the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team for 1 season, Tomac has found a renewed sense of determination.
We are on a new motorcycle, the 2023 YZ450, but surrounding yourself with the right people, I feel like you can make anything work, and it's going to be a great motorcycle to race.
Eli in 2023, I mean, he's going to be the dude. He's got the confidence, he's got the equipment, he's got the people around him.
I feel like mentally I'm the best that I've ever been, you know, on the starting line and with my racecraft. And mentally, I don't think I've ever been in a better spot. So for 2023, right now, I'm only contracted for the Supercross races, which would be 17 rounds. I'm leaving it a little bit open at this point if I go race motocross, and that would lead into those SMX rounds. But as of right now, I'm more leaning toward Supercross only. So that's where Eli Tomac is for now.
Currently under a Supercross-only deal for 2023, Tomac may find himself on the outside looking in for the SuperMotocross World Championship, unless he elects to race Pro Motocross.
I think he's going to have to see himself in the Motocross Championship as well. I bet we'll see Eli Tomac at all the races this year.
Change is sometimes inevitable, and for the 2nd straight year, Jason Anderson is entering a season with a new lease on life. In 2022, he made the switch to a new team. This year, changes are coming away from the track.
I'm going to be a dad in April, so it's going to be middle of the season. I'm going to be responsible for 2 now.
For Jason Anderson becoming a dad, it doesn't have to be something that slows you down or changes your focus. I actually think to the contrary, could be a huge boost for him, and we could see Jason Anderson 3.0.
In 2022, Anderson saw a career resurgence, winning 7 times and finishing 2nd in points, a mere 9 points behind Eli Tomac. Now, expectations are at an all-time high, with a world championship on the line for Anderson and the team.
He hadn't won a race since his championship year, and no one was really thinking about him as a race winner / title contender, but he showed all of us, and he looked like a new man, and the guys at Monster Energy Kawasaki absolutely love working with this guy.
And I do think Kawasaki had a point to prove. Ultimately, they did lose the championship to Eli Tomac, but the one rider who could match him was Jason Anderson. They finished second a year ago, but I think they believe that coming into 2023, that they can not only make a run at the championship, but they could take this thing back from Eli Tomac.
Jason's done a wonderful job stepping up to the plate and working with the team, working with the company. I mean, we couldn't be happier.
Being on a new team, obviously it's a breath of fresh air. I really gelled really well with the team and everything like that. I think it all was a recipe for success.
So I think for Kawasaki, it was a win-win. Losing Eli Tomac to Yamaha and then Jason Anderson comes on board, you're thinking, wow, this is not a marriage that may last very long. And it's not only lasted long, it has flourished.
Our focus is realistically on both of our main series. When you get to those last 3 rounds, you gotta pay attention to like where you're at, you know, like mentally and where your body's at, and you don't want to wear yourself out to where you get to those 3 super motocross rounds exhausted and not motivated and stuff like that. So I think that's part of the game. You got to figure out how to keep your head in it to be performing at the best you can on Saturdays.
No one rider has bigger expectations entering 2023 than Honda HRC's Chase Sexton.
Here you go, buddy.
A mix of dazzling speed and supreme talent, he's pegged by many to be on the short list of title favorites.
Chase Sexton is what Adam Cianciarulo used to be. The shiny toy of Monster Energy Supercross, the guy with incredible speed and incredible skill.
He's found his footing now. He knows he belongs in the Premier class. When he is in the groove and on fire, I don't see anybody stopping him. And I think he shouldn't be a contender. He's one of the contenders.
To be the first ever Super Motocross champion would mean a lot to me. One, it's obviously the first time this championship has been held, so that'd be good to get the name in the record books, but also, I feel like if you're in contention for that, you're also gonna have a really good season leading up to that.
He is a driven, motivated young man, 110% driven to succeed. He has focus like no other, and he's always had it.
He was always considered fast, talented, and good, but greatness, I don't think that was considered a guarantee. Now that he's coming in expected to do it, as opposed to, well, he has the potential to do it, but we don't know, will that change the amount of pressure that he's dealing with?
His passion to win started from a young age, one that was harnessed and pushed forward by his close-knit family.
He's one rider who has stayed extremely close to his family, all the way from 50s up to 450s. His dad is still his practice bike mechanic. His dad is still with him there at the track almost every day.
We spent a lot of time together, all of us, but riding in cars, of course, going races, motorhomes, whatever it was, we were always together.
Yeah, I would say we're really close. We have great times, and we also have those times where we butt heads, and that's sometimes hard, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
While 2022 is considered by most to be Sexton's breakthrough year, he knows if he wants to capture the inaugural Super Motocross World Championship, harnessing his consistency will be key.
Chase Sexton's 2022 season was full of highs and lows. And when I'm talking about that, I mean extreme highs. Winning your first ever 450 Supercross main event. Getting second to Eli Tomac, taking it down to the final race in the Outdoor National Championship.
If he continues to make the advances that he has the last 2 seasons, he will be perfect and he will be ready for 2023, and that's scary.
Coming into 2023, for me, I want to build on what I had last year, Supercross. I had some standout rides, like San Diego. Obviously getting my first win was very special to me. Had some good races, also had some not so good ones, crashing in Minneapolis with a lap to go was unfortunate, and I felt like took a toll on me. Still ending up on the podium is really the goal for me.
Full disclosure, I think Chase Sexton will win the 3-race Super Motocross Series. I think he will figure it out. I think he will get some maturity. I think when you combine all of that, some experience, with the skills and the raw speed, you have your championship guy right there. So I really think this is 2023 is a year of Chase Sexton.
It's time to make it happen. I have had enough experience now and definitely believe that I could be champion this year. Year 23, number 23, it's time to get it done.
A stepping stone to the 450 Premier class, the 250 division features the new great stars of the SuperMotocross World Championship. None more prominent right now than Jet Lawrence, the vibrant 19-year-old defending 250SX Eastern Region champion from Australia, whose legion of adoring fans have ushered in a new era in the sport.
I've dreamed of this since I was a little kid. Thanks to the crowd. You guys are awesome. I could hear you guys at every lap, so thank you guys so much.
I don't really need much of the kind of knowing on how good I am on a dirt bike, and all I need to know is what I need to do, not how good I do it. I know if I can do what I can do, then I should be good.
Jet has many suitors, though, maybe none more so than his elder brother Hunter, who's seeking his first 250 Supercross title in 2023. The 250 class is truly an international affair, with Joe Shimoda, who became the first Japanese rider to win a 250 Pro Motocross overall last year, ready to challenge for the crown. Will 2023 be the guide for a new champion? Or will Jet continue his meteoric rise to stardom? It's difficult to fathom that a two-time Monster Energy Supercross champion could enter the season under more of a microscope than Cooper Webb. His 2022 title defense never really got going, as he failed to win a race and finished a disappointing 7th in points. What Webb will we see in 2023?
For the champion to come in with the #1 plate and to not even get a 450 Supercross win, that's a little bit of a disaster. He had injuries all throughout the Supercross season. Then he skipped the entire outdoor national season.
Definitely struggle. Having a new bike is always something tough. Had some injuries throughout the season, a concussion, a broken hand, and 2022 is one I'd like to just tear off and don't look back.
If there's any rider that can seemingly wipe away a season, it's Webb, one of the mentally toughest competitors in the sport.
I'm still motivated as ever, still doing everything I can to make sure I put myself in the situation to go win a championship.
From winning 2 championships and being a pretty dominant guy, and then having a rough year, that's humbling. You evolve. We obviously know he's an amazing rider. I think the focus that I have to really be on point is getting that fitness back. How are we doing, Captain?
Following a subpar 2022, Webb is once again under the radar entering the new year, a place he relishes.
If Cooper Webb considers himself an underdog for this 2023 season, I think that's very dangerous for his competitors.
I kind of like coming in under the rug, but I think I should be the guy to beat. I mean, only me and Eli are the guys out there that have won this thing twice. I'm back with Eldon, back with Red Bull KTM, and we're figuring the bike out. And I've had a lot of success in 19, 20, and 21, and I'm feeling back to those standards. So I feel like when I'm in that groove, I am pretty hard to beat.
You know what? The last time people wrote him off, the dude won a Supercross title. I feel like he's coming in a little under the radar, which is hard to believe for a 2-time 450 Supercross champ.
2023 is going to be the most stacked season probably ever. I know we say it every year, but guys just keep evolving. Everyone's fast, everyone's fit, everyone's bikes are good. I think we have multiple guys that can go out and legit win. Yes, we're looking forward to the motocross season as well this year. Obviously, it's something that last year I didn't do, but it's something that I'm looking forward to this year. Definitely want to shoot to be a competitor outdoors, get some more wins, and that department would be great.
When Ken Roczen talks, people listen. And the reason why is because Ken Roczen is so popular, and his reach doesn't just land him here in the United States, it's worldwide. He's a sensation that came over from Germany when he was just a young kid, super talented, super likable, and that brand and reputation has carried him through his entire career, and it may be bigger now than it ever has been. There's no question that when the gate drops on Saturday night, not just the American fans, but the fans worldwide are always watching the 94.
It's on! Roczen with the whole shot.
He always draws a huge amount of fans to his pits.
He's extremely outspoken, sometimes a bit brash, also very much a family man now.
I have a son that's a little over 2 years old that has been so much fun to be around. We're in this stage right now where he's definitely crazy, but Courtney and I, we have really embraced the parent role, and we're able to travel now into all kinds of different countries and continents. And now I'm going to be able to do the same thing with my son and my family, so it's a pretty special feeling.
Ken's fun. He's a fantastic dad, a fantastic partner.
somehow he does a great job of blending that dad racing in kid time, so doing it together.
No one rider dominated the off-season headlines like Ken Roczen. His almost daily testing sessions dominated social media. In the end, he returned home to a familiar place after 6 seasons with Honda HRC.
Watching Ken Roczen's 2022 offseason has been maybe the best soap opera. He walked away from a Honda deal to do some overseas Supercross races.
He went on the Bubba's World podcast and announced his departure from Honda and told the world, I'm a free agent, pretty much come and get me. And then what transpired had to have been the most fun 2-month period of his life. And he told me it's been the greatest experience ever because he's getting to see what the competitors have been on, what might work for him, what might not work for him.
I ended up going with the Progressive Insurance X-Star Suzuki team, and I'm very excited about that because obviously I have a long history with Suzuki throughout my career, multiple times, and as soon as I jumped on the bike, something felt very familiar, and I enjoy it every time I go on the track, and I can just focus on my riding and just have a good time with it. So I think it was the perfect fit, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
There may be no one rider more looking forward to the diversity of the SuperMotocross World Championship than Ken Roczen. His supreme bike skills indoors and raw speed outdoors, seemingly a perfect match for the combined series. With a record $10 million purse on the line, the stakes have been raised.
And Ken Roczen wins A1! For Ken Roczen, who was born and raised in Germany, but has lived in America for so long, raced all over the world, I think it would be an enormous point of personal pride and career pride if he could be the inaugural SuperMotocross World Champion.
If I could be the first one to do that, it would be super huge. But for right now, I mean, we have a lot of racing to go until we get to that point, but it'll just be fun and exciting to look at it as a big picture, and because we tend to ride or die by our last result, you know what I mean? So now it'll be able to keep all that open and keep the excitement going.
Carrying the last name Stewart will always carry certain expectations, a certain demand. Malcolm Stewart's journey has come with many twists and turns, but through everything, he's always kept his smile on his face.
He is a fan favorite wherever he goes, coast to coast. He gets some of the biggest applauses of any athlete out there in the opening ceremony.
This sport has been waiting for Malcolm Stewart to get hot. When you watch him ride, you see the talent he has, the things he's able to do on a motorcycle. You always knew that the potential was there.
3rd place in the championship, beating out a long list of top-tier riders.
While Supercross will always be his passion first and foremost, his second love has always been on the water.
I've loved racing motorcycles. My last name is Stewart. You know, we've always had very big history from my brother to myself. And I'm one heck of a fisherman, too. So outside of dirt bikes, you know, you can come on the boat and come fish for me. We can go out there and catch some big ones. So I'm one guy that loves about fishing. I grew up fishing. I've obviously raced dirt bikes my whole entire life, but as a side hobby, it's always been fishing. They've been neck and neck right there, and I'm trying to catch that one, though.
While 2022 was a breakout year and even featured a return to pro motocross, Malcolm is still searching for that elusive first win.
Once he wins that first race this year, that's going to be the next, like, aha moment.
You need to get that feeling of like, okay, I can do this. I truly belong on the level of champions. And then you can try to make a title push from that.
I think it's more a little bit of the mental side on him believing in himself more, that he can actually win.
Come on, man.
Obviously, we want to improve on the physical side. Malcolm's a bigger guy, so, you know, keeping the right weight is difficult, and then just building up more of the consistent riding.
On that note, you'll go first in this next one.
It will be a long, arduous trek for Stewart and the rest of the field, with 31 races on the calendar, all live across Peacock and NBC.
I will say it is going to be a lot of racing. You have Supercross, you have Motocross, and now we have, like, I would say, like, the three race bang, but even though some of us are even older and you still seeing a, you know, young guy go in, like, we're still holding our ground, you know, so it's cool. Like, I look at myself like I'm definitely on the older group, like Eli, you know, me, Anderson, Barcia, Marvin, and then you got guys that are like, you know, Chase, and then of course, you know, Jet Lawrence coming in. And it's so cool to see, like,
makes us feel old, no lie, but it's just cool to see that we're still old dogs. They're still holding their ground, so cheer for the old dogs.
Justin Barcia has always carried himself with a certain bravado. An aggressive style has defined his career.
Justin Barcia coming into 2023. You know he's like a freight train, and it's coming full steam ahead until it comes to a stop. And unfortunately, most of the time it comes to a stop, it's at someone else's expense.
When he puts his helmet and his goggles on, he does not care who you are. He does not care what the name is on your jersey. He's going to give you everything he has, and he's going to push to his limits. And sometimes people might perceive that as dirty.
You have to be aggressive, which, you know, I'm aggressive, but I've been overly aggressive. I kind of, you know, had my issues here or there, but, you know, obviously I always go out there and give it 100% and want to win, and sometimes that doesn't show good.
Josh just straight up T-boned me, man.
You can bring the booze, but love it or hate it, this is me.
While his on-track aggressiveness has earned him the nickname Bam Bam, off the track will look very different in 2023. As Justin and his wife Amber welcomed their first child in December.
I can guarantee you the other racers are hoping that that maybe is the trick that finally calms down Justin Barcia.
You know, it's sometimes hard for fans to see what we're actually like at the races because we have that race face on. So I feel like having a kid at the race now will kind of relax things a little.
Myself and Justin have been doing this now for like just us two for 7 years, and we're just really, really looking forward to, you know, having our son with us and having that new chapter.
I want my son to watch me when he grows up. I want him to look back and, you know, see the racer I was. And obviously I want to be a guy who goes out there and gives it my all, but also is a good guy and a smart guy, and want him to, you know, see a cool dad and not an idiot.
When we found out it was a boy, that's the first thing I said. I said, oh, I'm really, really going to have 2 children now. They're definitely going to keep me on my toes, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, it's going to be amazing.
While his career has been outlined by race wins, Barcia knows if he's to contend his first 450 title, podiums will be the key.
I've had, you know, my fair share of inconsistent races and getting tangled up with a rider or something like that. So for me this year, the biggest thing is consistency. There's obviously a few young kids that are keeping us on our toes, which is a great thing. And they're always coming up and trying to push us out. But us dads now, we're going to be smarter and stronger racers, and it's going to make for great racing. So yeah, I think the fans need to buckle up and prepare because it's going to be awesome.
Starting January 7th, tune in all season long on Peacock, NBC, and USA Network to watch what fireworks may unfold on the track. One would never confuse Aaron Plessinger of lacking personality. The fun-loving Ohio native brings a certain flair to the series. And while it hasn't resulted in a win in the 450 class yet, he still garners the roars of the crowd each weekend.
I love opening ceremonies. I love doing it. It's kind of in my blood, just getting the people going. Hearing that cheer is really second to none.
When a fun-loving, big personality from the 250 class moved up to the 450s, we could not wait to see them on the biggest stage and really let that personality show. And inevitably, it would turn serious, the pressure would get to them, and they'd turn vanilla. Well, that didn't happen with Aaron Plessinger. If anything, he's more freewheeling, loving life than he's ever been.
Headed for his first win.
I'm a wide variety kind of dude. whatever I'm doing, I'm enjoying it.
You learn to love this track.
Today was a lot better.
And while having the adoring admiration of the fans is of high priority, results on the track still carry the most significance. And entering his second year with Red Bull KTM, Plessinger needs to deliver.
Aaron Plessinger for second.
We all love him, the crowd loves him, but as far as the on-track results, and I'm pretty sure he would say the same thing, that it's go time.
He had that podium in Oakland.
Man, I'm stoked. Woo!
But for as many highs as there was a lot of lows, and then eventually he exited the series with an injury.
He's got to prove that he's worthy on being a factory team,
because there's a lot of fast kids coming up that want his spot.
There's always that little bit of pressure, but I don't really feel it, because as long as I go out there and do my job to my fullest ability, I know I'm going to do good. And I know that KTM and Alden and everybody are going to be happy with me, because if I just focus on that, I'd get a good start, do what I know how to do, I think that'd be good enough to win.
It's odd to consider a 250 Supercross champion and 9-time race winner in the 450 class an underdog, but that's what Marvin Musquin was in 2022. On the brink of retirement, the seasoned French rider continued to silence the critics, en route to a race win and 4th overall in points.
Marvin Musquin was going to retire. He was done. 2022 was going to be his last year. And then a funny thing happened. Marv started riding really well.
As Marvin showed in 2022, he's one of the guys that's capable of winning at any given time. The only guy under KTM's umbrella that won a main event in the 450 class.
And I think Marv was like, hey, why not keep this thing going, and why not ride another year? And I think he caught everybody by surprise. The media, the fans, even Red Bull KTM, by saying that he wanted to come back for another year. And I say, why not? After the 2022 he had, he can certainly be a factor.
He's still very impressive on the track, very aggressive riding style, and always going for it every time he's on the track.
While 11 years of competing in Monster Energy Supercross may not show on his face, the grizzled veteran knows the time is certainly winding down on his accomplished career.
You really wouldn't know it by looking at him. He still looks like he's 23 years old, and he still rides that way. But he's in a little bit of an interesting situation. He's got a Supercross-only contract with KTM, and then I don't think he has anything going right now for the outdoors.
He has to score enough points or get some wins in Monster Energy Supercross to get into the SuperMotocross format.
Well, this is a new era. I really like what I see for a new season. Calling it the SuperMotocross World Championship, it's pretty cool. It's something new and so much money for for the purse. It would be a lot of pressure for all the riders. Everybody already in our sports are pushing hard to win races. So $10 million will bring more intensity, that's for sure.
At times, the challenges one must overcome can seem too overwhelming. Adam Cianciarulo knows this all too well, as his first 3 seasons in the 450 class have been filled with injuries, leading to a trend of early exits from the series.
Simply due to circumstances, I think that Adam Cianciarulo is almost like the forgotten man. But we shouldn't forget him, because he's so skilled, he's so talented, if he can stay healthy.
I've had kind of this nerve injury with my arm that's caused a lot of other injuries as well over the past couple of years, and it's forced me to take a lot of time off. And I think when you spend so much time away from the sport, there was times that I thought I was done. I'm also just getting older too. I just turned 26, and I'm dealing with these big challenges with something that's meant a lot to me for a long time.
The spotlight has always shone bright on Cianciarulo. His bright personality and on-track success have always garnered attention from the fans and media alike.
He's had a spotlight on him ever since he was 6 years old. People were talking about he was going to be the next great big thing.
It's just a shame that he's had so much bad luck.
It's been a tough day for Adam Cianciarulo.
I'm sure it's been really, really tough to miss another entire season. He didn't line up maybe for 3 or 4 races in all of 2022.
I think I found an inner belief in myself this time away, a feeling in my mind of like it's going to be okay no matter what. That gives me so much confidence and so much freedom on the motorcycle. I'm having more fun than ever. I feel comfortable on the bike. I definitely think I have a lot of work to do. These guys get better, and I've spent a lot of time on the couch the last couple of years.
I think that if Adam Cianciarulo comes into the season healthy, confident, I think he wins a race in January this year. And maybe that leads to more wins, and maybe he goes on a run and becomes a champion. The question is, can the body hold up? And we're going to get that answer once the gate drops at Anaheim. But don't be surprised in January if you see the number 9 on top of the podium.
No two journeys are the same, each consisting of their own set of challenges. For Christian Craig, his road has hit many bumps, but each time, he stepped up to the challenge.
I went pro when I was 18. I signed with the team, had a lot of injuries. I actually stepped away from racing at one point.
He had gotten hurt for a bunch of years when we were dating, and he had a wrist or a hand injury, and he knew he didn't have a ride, so Christian was like, all right, I'm done. So I said, just take a breather, and maybe a ride will pop up. And he's like, no, we're going. So I think like just a few days later, we were driving to Minnesota, where I'm from.
I thought it'd be better to get a 9-to-5, and I quickly realized that that wasn't for me. So lasted about 2 years, and in that time, I had my first son, got married, we bought our first house. So it was a big deal for us to just pack up and try racing again.
To come back and be stronger than ever, that's something that you have to admire and respect about Christian Craig.
Following years of injuries and even a brief retirement, Craig's dreams of winning a Monster Energy Supercross title came true in 2022.
Finally got done in one of the most emotional roller coasters we've ever seen a rider ever go through.
Salt Lake City, it was unbelievable. And I just remember sitting there and standing there in that moment being like I'm gonna relive this moment for the rest of my life. So I just gotta like take it in.
No longer the young superstar, Craig knew it was now or never if he wanted to make the move to the 450 class. And he found a great landing spot, inking a 2-year deal with Rockstar Energy Husqvarna.
Before I even won the title, I knew deep down that it was time to move up. I'm a little older in the class. I'm 31, and I don't know how many more years I have here, so win or lose the title, I wanted to move up.
Armed with a deal with Factory Husqvarna also means Craig will be moving over to train with one of the most respected trainers in the industry, Alden Baker.
When Husqvarna contacted me about, hey, they're going to sign Christian, but he has to be with you, it was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. In fact, now the pressure's on me because I better get him to where he needs to be. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a bit of a, dark horse in the background there,
Obviously, I'm going against the best, and, against Eli, Jason, Cooper Webb, past champions, people that have done it. So trying to beat them, trying to make a name for myself.
Dylan Ferrandis certainly knows how to make a mark as a rookie.
I come from France, and I grew up with that dream of just riding a huge stadium.
The Frenchman exploded onto the 450 scene as a rookie in 2021.
Ferrandis is being chased, but he picks up his second career 450 podium.
It's good to be back on the box.
And won the 450 Pro Motocross title.
We've got some champagne to hand out.
Colt Nichols, meanwhile, is still trying to get over an early exit to his 2021 250SX East Region title defense.
Colt Nichols is down big!
Pretty tough arm injuries. Anaheim won first time right out of the gate. So for me, a little bit of a redemption year, but at the same time, I'm learning and building, and I want to go prove that I can race a 450 against the best guys in the world. And hopefully my story is inspiring in that way. And if I can be that to any little kid, then I feel like I've done my job.
With Anaheim 1 on the horizon, the best riders in the world are preparing for one of the most highly anticipated seasons in history. An all-new format and record purse up for grabs. The greatest challenge in their lives looming. No two journeys are the same, each consisting of their own set of challenges. For Christian Craig, his road has hit many bumps, but each time, he stepped up to the challenge.
I went pro when I was 18. I signed with the team, had a lot of injuries. I actually stepped away from racing at one point.
He had gotten hurt for a bunch of years when we were dating, and he had a wrist or a hand injury, and he knew he didn't have a ride, so Christian was like, all right, I'm done. So I said, just take a breather, and maybe a ride will pop up. And he's like, no, we're going. So I think like just a few days later, we were driving to Minnesota, where I'm from.
I thought it'd be better to get a 9-to-5, and I quickly realized that that wasn't for me. So lasted about 2 years, and in that time I had my first son, got married, we bought our first house. So it was a big deal for us to just pack up and try racing again.
To come back and be stronger than ever, that's something that you have to admire and respect about Christian Craig.
Following years of injuries and even a brief retirement, Craig's dreams of winning a Monster Energy Supercross title came true in 2022.
Finally got done in one of the most emotional roller coasters we've ever seen a rider ever go through.
Salt Lake City, it was unbelievable. And I just remember sitting there and standing there in that moment being like I'm gonna relive this moment for the rest of my life. So I just gotta like take it in.
No longer the young superstar, Craig knew it was now or never if he wanted to make the move to the 450 class. And he found a great landing spot, inking a 2-year deal with Rockstar Energy Husqvarna.
Before I even won the title, I knew deep down that it was time to move up. I'm a little older in the class. I'm 31, and I don't know how many more years I have here, so win or lose the title, I wanted to move up.
Armed with a deal with Factory Husqvarna also means Craig will be moving over to train with one of the most respected trainers in the industry, Alden Baker.
When Husqvarna contacted me about, hey, they're going to sign Christian, but he has to be with you, it was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. In fact, now the pressure's on me because I better get him to where he needs to be. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a bit of a, dark horse in the background there,
Obviously, I'm going against the best, and, against Eli, Jason, Cooper Webb, past champions, people that have done it. So trying to beat them, trying to make a name for myself.
Dylan Ferrandis certainly knows how to make a mark as a rookie.
I come from France, and I grew up with that dream of just riding a huge stadium.
The Frenchman exploded onto the 450 scene as a rookie in 2021.
Ferrandis is being chased, but he picks up his second career 450 podium.
It's good to be back on the box.
And won the 450 Pro Motocross title.
We've got some champagne to hand out.
Colt Nichols, meanwhile, is still trying to get over an early exit to his 2021 250SX East Region title defense.
Colt Nichols is down big!
Pretty tough arm injuries. Anaheim won first time right out of the gate. So for me, a little bit of a redemption year, but at the same time, I'm learning and building, and I want to go prove that I can race a 450 against the best guys in the world. And hopefully my story is inspiring in that way. And if I can be that to any little kid, then I feel like I've done my job.
With Anaheim 1 on the horizon, the best riders in the world are preparing for one of the most highly anticipated seasons in history. An all-new format and record purse up for grabs. The greatest challenge in their lives looming. The 2023 SuperMotocross World Championship Preview Show is brought to you in part by Monster Energy, proud partner of Monster Energy Supercross, and by the Utah Sports Commission. Utah, the state of sport. No matter their origin, they all maintain the same goal. Vastly different men from vastly different places, each with their own remarkable stories.
Who's the fastest? Who's the toughest? Who's got the best endurance to last that distance? You've got to do it over the course of the season. That's going to be the story of the SMX World Championship 2023.
10 months of racing, SuperMotocross World Championship. I am so excited, putting the pressure on all of the riders, having to perform both Supercross, Motocross, and then to a 3-race playoff system.
And for the fans of SuperMotocross, they'll have a chance to watch it on Peacock, NBC, and USA Network.
While the series will still visit iconic venues around the country, the introduction of the SuperMotocross World Championship allows for the series to traverse to new cities and an entire new fan base.
We're still going to be at Red Bud for outdoors
Indy for Supercross, Atlanta for Supercross, which I'm really looking forward to, Daytona, some new places, Tampa and Nashville this year.
We'll see every type of condition, every type of track, every type of environment, temperature, everything, right? From Anaheim to all the way to LA Coliseum.
A really cool track. You literally go out of the stadium there and come back in, so great place for the finals.
Get your tickets now while they're still available. Come see your boy, come see him.
For the fans, it's not over until the last flag is waved in Los Angeles in October. And when that checker flag comes down, I'll tell you what, we are going to have a real world champion.
High pressure, high stakes, big money on the line.
Fans will definitely not be bored. There's going to be some bar banging. There's so much excitement. It's always action-packed.
Good battles.
Survival mode once you get to the last three, but there's a lot at stake.
And winner-take-all type deal.
Super stoked to just be a part of that.
31 weekends of challenging, nail-biting racing, and we'll see who gets crowned champion at the end.
Yeah, let's go.
31 rounds over the course of 10 months with a record purse of $10 million on the line. Live across Peacock, NBC, and USA Network.
Strap in because it's going to get nuts.